This is a fully functional weather data where you can enter a city or a place or enter a country name where you can get a current weather. Here, let's see if I search in India and I press enter. Currently India is not available, my bad. If I enter Delhi, now Delhi current temperature is 8 degrees. And if I were to enter Paris, which is everybody's favorite, the current temperature is almost 0 degrees. If I were to enter my home city, Visakhapatnam, the current temperature here is 20 degrees. Like this we can get the weather data by entering a city name. If this feels interesting to you, I am going to teach you how to do this. Okay guys, in order to proceed further, you need a text editor. You can have anything, but I recommend VS Code because VS Code has an extension called as live server, by which it updates whatever you edit over here. It will directly update in your web page. So I recommend VS Code. After opening VS Code, go to file, open folder, and I am creating a new folder. Okay, since we are creating a weather app, I am creating folder with a name of weather web page, and a folder is created. I am gonna select it, and this web we need 3 files. First one is index.html. It is preferred to make your files in HTML file size index because it increases the readability, and CSS files as style.css, and JavaScript file as script.js. Now when it comes to the index file, I'm going to create a basic HTML file, okay, then I'll continue with it. I'm going to add a title. Currently I'm planning on deploying a domain for me. I'm going to name it creativecrafters/project1.net, and I will even link my style sheet here. The link, we will specify the relationship as style sheet href. Since it is in a relative path, I just need to enter style. Then I'm gonna enter a body tag where we will link our JavaScript file script. We will even specify a source of script.js. It is preferred to keep the JavaScript tag at the end because if any error found in JavaScript, at least we can load the HTML and CSS. So keeping JavaScript at the end helps a lot. Now I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna click this go live. And this currently opens in Chrome because Chrome is my default browser, and this updates. And let me see. If I were to type h1, I say like hi all and currently save it, it instantly updates it. That's the advantage with the live server. And now to proceed further, we need an weather API to fetch the data. All you need to go is to the internet current weather API. You need to go to this website where you can get the current data, and you just need to sign up. If you sign up, you can find my API keys. If you go to the my API keys, you will find find your own API key. Make sure you keep it active because you're gonna need it while we can. If you do not know anything, you can even generate it, and this is totally free guys. You just need to sign in over here, and that's it. Okay, now let's come. I will show you how we can create the weather app first of all. Now at first I will create a form because form makes our life so much easier. I'm gonna give this form an ID of form. You can name it anything, or else okay, let's keep it formal. I'm gonna name it as class. I'm gonna give it form as form input container. Keep it as input container. I'm going to give it an input, and the class has city input because we will input our city over here, and the type of it will be text. The placeholder here will be enter city name. You can see we created our text box. Now we just need to create a button and create a button, and this button will have a get weather, because we are getting weather by clicking this button. And this button will have a submit, because forms will have default habit of submitting it. And I will also give this button an ID of submit. That's it. We just created our button. Sorry, I misspelled it. Button. You can see we got our button. Now we also make a div class to show all of our weather. I'm gonna make a div of class equal to, let's say, card. I'm gonna make this as card. Okay. In this inside this div, we need a h1 element to show the present weather, to show the current city, like what we are entering. So I'm gonna name it as class city display. It has class city is display. And let's say for demonstration I will type Delhi over here. Okay, I got Delhi. And next we need to have a temperature, right? For temperature I will make a class called as temp display. Let's say 20 degrees as of now. Okay, my numlock is off, sorry. Let's say if you wanted to get the temperature of that Celsius, you need to press Windows plus 0176 to get 0176. Okay, I'm gonna show you. Wait. If you wanted to get that degrees mark, you need to press Alt 0176, and then you can see we got it over here. Let me zoom in for you. Let me zoom in. Let me see. We got the degrees. Let me zoom back. That's Celsius over here, so that we can see our Celsius. And then we need to display the current humidity in that area, right? I'm gonna take this as P. I'm gonna give it as class as humidity display, where I will show you the humidity. Let's say there is 56% humidity in Delhi. And I'm gonna create another P class with a class. This time we can see the description, like how the weather is there, like clear sky, foggy, rainy. Yeah. Description display. Let's say there is foggy in Delhi, because it's Delhi, it's obvious. Due to the pollution, there is always that. And I'm gonna create another pane where the class is emoji display, where we're gonna display the emoji. Let's pick an emoji, right? I'm gonna take this emoji as of now, and just for the demonstration. Okay, in fact we get any error. Imagine someone entered a city name that is not found, and then we need to handle that in error display as well. Error display. Let's say I'm gonna print an error status of 404 error. It's just for demonstration. Okay, we got an error, and until this the HTML script what we have done is completed. Okay, now let's go to the CSS style sheet. Okay guys, I showed you how we can create an HTML file. Now let us style this whole CSS. If you wanted to use some default fonts, like CSS had some default fonts like Verdana, Helvetica. If you wanted to use an advanced fonts, you need to head to any browser. Like here I'm using Microsoft Edge. If you go and type here Google Fonts, you will find the first website of Google Fonts. It is official fund of Google, and you can find any fonts like here, like you have Roboto, Open Sans. Let's say I wanted to use Open Sans over here, and I will click here the get font button over here. I click get font. Now see, I have already selected 4 fonts. Like if I wanted to have only Roboto, only Pop-ins, Open Sans, you will have only Open Fonts, and you will need to download all these 4. Let's see, my download has been completed. And we also needed to get this mbed code, because what this mbed code does is it retrieves the information from the Google Fonts. Like it creates a server between your HTML file and the Google Fonts, and it loads all the files in a real time with an internet connection. I'm gonna copy this code. I'm gonna paste this in the HTML head tag. HTML head tag. Okay, and this I'm gonna align it with this. Now what happens is our HTML file font is now directly made a contact with the Google Fonts. So if you were to use that font, you're gonna need a attribute called as font face. Like see, you will get an extension where you want to specify the path. How you can specify the path? You need to go to the file manager where you download. This is where I downloaded Open Sans, Parkinson's, Pop-ins and Roboto contents. I'm gonna go inside. Okay, just file. Now if I wanted to use Open Sans, right, you wanted to go to Open Sans folder. Like see, there is an Open Sans folder. I'll go Open Sans, and you have to ignore all these guys. These are just rubbish. You need to go to the static dot. In static you will find many fonts. You need to select any font. Like I'm gonna need Open Sans regular. I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna copy it and come to my folder where the web development I'm gonna need. We created a folder at starting, right, where the web page. I'm gonna paste in this font. Like see, I pasted that font Open Sans regular, and it is a TTF file because all the files that have a font will have a format of TTF. I'm gonna close this, come out of it. Like I'm gonna see, you can see my font over here. I just need, since it is in a relative path, I just need to specify the relative location. See, it is Open Sans regular.ttf. If I want to use this, I'm gonna specify the Open Sans as my font family, regular. Okay, now see, we just have a regular. Let's see that font works or not. I'm gonna select everything. Let's say for demonstration I type font family as a, okay, be sure to have a capitalization. Since it is all real-time linking, we need to have a regular. See, our font changed. Look, see, you can see our font changed to Open Sans Delhi. Before it used to be like this. Let me show you the before once again. If I were to say this, you can see this before. It will be any font like sans serif or anything because Chrome uses sans serif. Now I set the font family to the Open Sans regular. You can see now we can set to Open Sans regular. Okay, now let's continue with our CSS style sheet. First I'm gonna set the whole margin of the web page to 0 pixels and even the padding to 0 pixels. I'm gonna take the box sizing to border box. The border. Okay, what this border box does is it increases like let me show you. If this increases, like in a way of keeping the handy mobile phones, it increases to the size. Like this helps in, oh no, currently it is not functional. Even if we add more the CSS and flex boxes, it helps in the display property. Okay, first let's, okay guys, now let's first center this bottom. Like this is an edge. If I wanted to have this all center, like this whole body tag, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select the body tag. I'm gonna set its position to absolute, and I will give top as 50%. Since left as 50%, you can specify left or right, but since we are starting at left, it's preferred to name it at left. And we are gonna transform it and we are going to transform it by using the translate option. All these are CSS. If you came for a weather project, I think you know all these, right? So now this, we just centered a div or a body. You can do it for anything. So see, we centered it by using this, and this also helps. Like even if you were to increase that manually, see this manually auto centered. That's the advantage of border box. Okay, now we just centered our body. Now let's take care of this input tag, right? I'm going to select this container, what we named it. Okay, sorry, I forgot it. I named it input container, right? I'm going to select this. Since this is a class, be sure of this putting a full stop or what, because for classes we need, if it is a ID, we need a hash. Okay, that's why I named it. Okay, now let's I wanted to make this as simple as it. Okay, first let me give a padding of 20 pixels around it, because now see we got a padding around it. I'm going to give it as a overflow as hidden. Imagine someone typing a big name and it overflows out of the box and it does not look good, right? So I'm going to give it as a overflow as hidden. What this that is, imagine I entered how much big city, it does not go out of the box, right? It does not go out of. If it does not keep overflow as hidden, it will come out of the box. Okay, and now just I'm going to give it as text align to center to make this button. Again, if you go to the full web page, it does not cause any problem, but if you are in a web page, it does increases the way of it looks. Okay, after we styled our input container, now we just need to use this city input, right? Okay, class city input. I'm gonna select it, class city input. First I'm gonna increase the font size. What we entered is to 1.5 em. Okay, hopes that visible. I'm even gonna give the font weight to be bold, because it's we need to okay bold. I'm gonna give a padding of 10 pixels to it. Okay, let's see, we got a padding now. Okay, what else we need to do? I think that's it. I don't wanted it to be rounded, so I'm gonna give a border radius of 10 pixels. Okay, let us give even border of 1 pixel solid black color. I'm gonna change it all this. Sorry, I misspelled solid. Look, we even got a border. Okay, now let's hide our button. We did not give any class for the button, we gave it ID. You can give ID and class, but it's your wish. If you are using ID, make sure to use hash. If you are using class, make sure to use that full stop, because then only CSS can read it. I'm gonna give some same font size of 1.5 em. Obviously, why not? Okay, we got a font size of, and this weather button also need a padding of 10 pixels. I gave, and a border of 2 pixels solid black as well. Okay, let's do a border radius of 10 pixels so that we round. And I want, and you see the cursor over is not a pointer. I need it, so I give a cursor of a pointer. I'm gonna name the cursor as pointer. See, okay, now let us pick a background color, right? Because buttons does not look good without a background color. Let's go for a background color. As of background color, I'm gonna this shade panel. Look, you can even go to, you can select any color and go to here, and you can any HSL. Like I like HSL, I give you this button a color of this. Look, now this good, right? But the black is not completely that color. I'm gonna name this button a white. I'm gonna make the font weight to be bold. Look, now this looks good, right? since this is okay, now this looks great. I wanted to even have a hover property, hover pseudo class. I will add in hover pseudo class. Obviously it's make good, right? I'm gonna select the background color to be changed. Let's select this color. You can choose any color and go to HSL and you can make that. I'm gonna decrease the lightness. Next number, if I hover, the lightness is now increased. Since lightness is increased, I'm gonna give it color of black. But again, now if I select black, I go to HSL, I will reduce the alpha value. What this alpha value is, it reduces the depth. See, it's black but not completely black. And you also go to submit, and I will also use active pseudo class. Active pseudo class works like when you click on that button, this active pseudo class acts. I'm gonna give the background color. Let's again go for this color. Again I'm gonna reduce this lightness a little more. Okay, now what is this is our pseudo class. If you click, you can see that's flashing. That all occurs because of the active pseudo class. Okay, now we just styled our button. Now we just need to just need this, right? Okay, what we name this class as the card. So we will come here, we will specify the card. Okay, first this card has everything is aligned to right. I'm gonna align it to center. We just need to use the display property and use flex, because obviously I like flex boxes, and I like flex direction to be in a column. Okay, and I will just justify the content to be center. Nothing happens as of now. That's the problem with the align items. Center, you can see all of the daily, all of the temperature, all the humidity, and our emoji, like our little ghost emoji, is now centered. Even if you go here, it will be centered. Even if you partially open your web page, it will be centered. Even if you open fully web page, closed web page, and anything, these will be centered. Make sure to use this flex box. That's the advantage. Okay, and now just like I think I will give a border for it as a 2 pixel solid black as of now. Okay, sorry, I misspelled solid again. That's the disadvantage with me. I misspelled some words. Okay, I'm gonna give this some widths, all those things. Okay, these are completely optional. Okay, you can give either my width or you can give any of your specified width. Okay, I'm going to give it some minimum width and minimum height, because be sure to give minimum width and minimum height, because what happens is some cities will have a shorter name, some cities will have a bigger name. Imagine Vishakhapatnam is a big name, right? But Delhi is a small name. Like there will be some cities with like 3 cities names. But to avoid all the misconceptions, you need to give this minimum width and minimum height so that it won't cause any errors. Like, okay, let's see, the gap between this is so much little. I'm going to give some margin top just for the margin. Okay, now see the gap between them is decreased so much, right? And I even going to give a padding of 10 pixels, because it increases. Like, okay, 10 pixels padding is not enough, like 20 pixels padding. Now let's even add a background color. There are 2 options here. You can have a background color of your choice. Let's say someone like beach, you can give it that. If you wanted to be more creative in your project, you can use linear gradient, right? You can use linear gradient method. Linear gradient, I'm gonna specify like 180 degrees. What this linear gradient I'm gonna express you soon. You just need to choose 2 colors. That's it for linear gradient. If you save it, linear gradient is okay. Okay, something I did wrong. Wait, let me check over here. Linear gradient. Okay, sorry, I misspelled it. It's linear gradient. Okay. Okay, so see, linear gradient, what this does is it combines two colors as a combined output. Let's say this degrees, like 180 degrees is a straight line, right? If I were to specify 120 degrees, you see the angle over here. If you function like 90 degrees, you see straight line because 90 is obvious. I'm using 180 for my something, like you can choose whatever. Since I'm gonna choose some better colors, I will go to HSL. I will go to some light blue shade, right? Because we obviously, everyone likes light blue, right? I'm going to go for this light blue. In place of orange, going to select HSL values and some pale orange. Okay, let's see, now it looks so much better than before. That's that. You can use a simple background color, or you can use a background with a linear gradient. Okay, I even wanted to add a box shadow. Let's say box shadow, you should, let's say I'm gonna keep it simple, like 10 pixels, 10 pixels, 10 pixel depth. You can see what happens, what I mean. 10 pixels, 10 pixels, 10 pixels, right? Okay. Now if you wanted a border radius, like if you don't like all those sharp picture stuff, border radius of 10 pixels is preferred. You see, our corners are now rounded. Okay, now let us style our card. We just styled out. Now let us style all the elements in the card. What's the first element? Our first element is city display. I'm gonna select it. I'm gonna type city display. Okay, I'm gonna type city display. City display does not need anything. It just needed 10 pixels of padding. Okay, 10 pixels of padding is what we all need. Now just like temperature display, right? Temper. I'm feeling lazy, so I'm gonna copy that name. Okay, and this is also does not need anything. I'll just give a padding of 10 pixels around it. Okay, give 10. Next is our humidity display. Okay, next is our humidity display. You can see over here, humidity display. Again, I will give a padding of 10 pixels to it. The font size is so much small for humidity, so I'm gonna increase the font size. Font size, let's say for 1.5 em. Okay, 1.5 em is good. Maybe 1.6 will be good, I think. Okay, 1.6 is good. Now next we need to give the description, right? Description display. Description display. Same. I'm gonna giving a padding of 10 pixels to it as well. And I'll increase the font size. Let's say for 1.2 em, right? Because we don't need a bigger description. Like descriptions usually have an italic. I'm gonna give it the font style. Font style as italic. You can see. Okay, but let's increase this font size to 1.4 em. Okay, now just time to our web. I think we only need padding bottom, right? Okay, this is good. Okay, now let's go to our emoji display. To our emoji display, you can see over here. Emoji display. Okay, sorry, I misspelled. Emoji display. Emoji size will be like font size of 4 em. I think 4 em is pretty much good. Okay, I think we all can see it. I'm gonna give it a padding bottom, not on top of 10 pixels because okay, padding not on. Next we need to handle our error display. I will name it as color to be crimson, to the shade of red, because obviously errors will be in red color, right? I'm gonna give the font weight to be bold in specific because okay, this look good, and then I'm gonna even increase the font size of the error. Font size to be 1 point, let's say 7 because we did not use it anything. Okay, now it looks good. If you I wanted to make small corrections in the background linear, like some shade. I did not like this shade. Okay, I think this shade is so much better. Okay, this shade is so much better because it's been so much light over here. So this is all our CSS we need. Okay, now let's come to JavaScript. Okay, before going into JavaScript, one thing we needed to do, we don't need to display this, right? We just need to display it when someone click on the get weather button, right? Then only we need to display it. Until or unless we don't need to display this, right? So what we are going to come to this card, okay, and I'm gonna access the style of it. Then I'm gonna select the display property, right? Display property to be none, and later we can change it using HTML. Using JavaScript we will change this function. Okay, no one don't need to worry. We don't need even these as well. We created them. You just need to comment. I'm just commenting it, or else you can even delete it. It's not an issue. Like whenever we click on this button, we will get these activated using our JavaScript. Okay, don't need to worry. We just need to save our HTML file, save our CSS file, and come to our JavaScript file. Okay guys, since we completed all our HTML and CSS, now we need to come to our JavaScript file. Since this is not a beginner project, hence this is a beginner project, but this there include many JavaScript inbuilt functions like advanced functions like async, await, fetch, and all this. If you did not have prior knowledge about JavaScript, I highly recommend you to watch any YouTube video regarding JavaScript and then come. Okay, now let's jump. I'm going to create a constant for the weather form. Okay, I'm creating a constant for the weather form. I'm gonna import it from the document. I'm gonna query select all because of our weather form. Okay, let's have our HTML file. Our weather form has two inputs, right? We need to get both. I'm gonna get a document.query selector. Okay, query selector. I'm gonna select this class. Like, what is our class? Our class is input container, right? I'm gonna select that input container class. Input container. If you are not sure about this spelling, I highly recommend you to copy pasting it, because even a single error in the name, the JavaScript will throw an error called as underdefined. Okay, now just we need another thing with the city input, right? City input, so we will get this from the document.query selector. We will get from the class of city input, right? See, this city input, because we needed to get the city name from the city input. What this does is, let's say if I enter Delhi over here, I will click, when I click this get weather button, we will write a function for this. You don't need to worry. That Delhi city name will be taken into the weather form, and that particular city name will be sent into the city input, where we can use this to fetch data from the international weather API. Okay, previously what I showed, the same happens with any name. Even if I filled in the city name, that let's say blah 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 something in my keyboard, even if I get weather, the city name will be directed to this city input, and this city input will throw an error of the anything like type error, underdefined, error 404, return status, anything, because this city input is very useful. Okay, and let's create a card. It's because since we name it as card, I'm naming it as card, obviously. Document dot query selector. Okay, query selector. I'm gonna select this class as card. check one more time because any error. Check card. Okay, card. Okay, now we are fetching data using an API key and creating this. Now we need to go to this weather app. I hope you all created in this the web page. This is the website home.openweathermap.org. You just needed to create an account. After creating your account, you should come here my API keys where you can find your own API key. Make sure you use your own API key. Okay, don't use mine. Okay, you just need to paste your API key over here, and this is all the constants we need. Okay, now we needed to create like 4 functions. First I will add an event listener. Okay, weather form dot add event listener. By default event listeners are provided with 2. By default we will be provided with an event and a callback as a for the event listeners. Okay, the event listeners will be on click, right? After clicking on the mouse button, we need everything to get happen. I will specify on click. This will be provided with an event as a default from us. Okay, the event will be provided as a default for us. Okay, this is the first function we need. Okay, this is the first function. This function handles all the things that we needed to do. Okay, next after having this we needed another function. 1 minute. Okay, this is our first function, and the second function we need is, you can name it anything. I'm naming it as a get weather data. We will pass in a city name, obviously the city name which we get from the city input, right? From this city input we will pass the city name. Okay, this is our second function, and our third function is like display weather. Function is display weather. We will pass in the data we get from the API. Like here from this API key we will get some data and we will pass the data to this function. Okay, and just we need another function to display our emoji, because I think you all get it. We even added an emoji to our weather. Okay, get weather emoji. This is our function. We will pass in a weather ID. I will show you what is this weather ID means. Okay, you don't need to worry about all those stuff. Okay, then we also needed a function to display the error, because obviously we do have some errors if user, because since we are getting user input, we will pass a message which contains all the error information and we will print it. Look, this is all the functions we need. Okay, at first okay, now let's come to our first function, which is called as, which is our event listener, because we are adding an event listener. Like when we click on this button, the following event will happen. Okay, we will be provided this event on, we are providing on click, and these are multiple events. You may have a mouse over event, mouse out event. Hope you learn all those things. Now this event will be provided on default. Like if I click over here, the event will be provided by default Chrome to our web page. Okay, so we will take this event. First we needed to prevent default. Okay, prevent default method. Okay, what this does is it prevents auto submitting. Like when I click on the weather button, you see it refreshes instantly. We will stop it now. Okay, we will stop it, that prevent default method. Okay, we can take a constant called as city. Like we need a city input, right? We will get the city input from, we will get this city from this city input. I'm assigning that city input dot value date, whatever the value. Okay, so this is a problem with Visual Studio Code. Okay, we will be providing whatever the city input we get. Even if you enter anything, even if you enter Delhi, even if you enter Kolkata or anything, all the values you enter will be given to this const city, and this city variable we will pass it to the get weather data. Hope you understand. Okay, now I will check it if user really entered a city name. Like imagine like someone entering their old name. If I enter my old name and get weather data, it throws an error. Like now we have to check it. Okay, if really user entered a city name, okay, I'm gonna try it as a if statement. We are using error, like error exemption. Error exemption has two parts: try and catch. This catch has some error. Okay, catch catches some error. Okay, try and catch. Okay guys, so sorry for interruption. Since I am very new for this teaching, I am unable to teach and code at the same time. Okay, what I will do is I will write all the program. I will write all the JavaScript functions and all this, and then I am going to explain you. Okay, how every function. Okay, no need to worry. Okay guys, I completed I completed writing my whole JavaScript. Now I will explain you. We stopped over here, right, in this if statement, right? We stopped over here in this if statement. First we will check if user really entered a city name. Let's say someone hop in and they did not enter a city name and they clicked this get weather button. What happens is this empty city name is transferred into the city constant, and this city and that empty name is passed into this get weather data, and this fetches the API with an empty city name, which throws us an error, right? So we needed to catch that error. We need to avoid any user entering it. So we will use an error exception. Error exception contains actually of three parts, but we can use any two. I am using try and catch over here. We will try to resolve anything. If user really entered the city name, we will constantly create a constant called as weather data, where the whole weather data will be placed. We used an async and await function. These work same, but these you can call this as advanced JavaScript methods in place of promises. What this is, until this happens, until we get the city name and get this weather data from this API key. Okay, what I'm trying to say is, until we get the data of this particular city from this API, it's gonna wait the whole web page. Okay, if I entered Kolkata over here, this Kolkata city name will be passed to this API, and it fetches in the server and gets the temperature, humidity and the current weather status, all that stuff. Until that, we will wait for that function. This is called as async and await, and these are called as, you cannot use async without await and you cannot use await without async, and these are joint functions. Okay, this can only be used inside a function, not outside the function. Okay, hope you getting it. Okay, now we will take this city and we will pass it to this get weather data, that means to this API, and we needed to display, right, whatever the data we are getting, we needed to display that. This display weather info is a function we written over here. You can see display weather info. We will pass the data. We also specified it. Okay, I will pass a data, so we are passing this weather data. Okay, this is if the user entered a city name. If I entered Kolkata, the whole this happened. Let's see if I did not enter any city name. We need to catch that error, right? Okay, we need to catch that error. Okay guys, after trying it, let's say user did not enter any city name. We need to catch that error, right? So we are catching it and we will get an error. Okay, by default, if anything happens, our browser will throw an error and we will even display that error. For displaying the error, we even used a function called as display error function, where we will pass a message, and this message will be displayed in our web page. Okay, this is all the if block. Else if user entered a city name, let's say if anyone entered a small city name that is not listed in this website, that means home.openweathermap.org, in that time we will throw this error. Okay, if anyone did not enter a proper city name and all this, and we will use this fetch method to get the data from this org. Okay, we will use fetch. You can see I'm used the fetch method, and here also used async and await function, like the same way opens away until we pass in a city name and get the data from the org. We will hold on all the functions, all the functions that we hold. Until this happens, we will await it. We will wait until this fetch function fetches the API and get all our required data. We will wait on it, and then we will perform remaining functions. Okay, if response equal to false, we will be thrown with a response. Okay, if the response is false, okay, let me show you response, right? If I were to type delay over here, you can see we are getting all the delay. If I were to go to console and inspect console, we will be given with a response. Okay, in this response we will see a status of OK and a status code of 200. We can see status just equal to OK. If this response turns out to be false, if this OK here is true, imagine if someone gets a, let's see, if I something name it blah 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 blah, in reality this does not exist, right? So we get an error. If we go to same inspect and console, we will be given a response. No, okay, see, if response we see if OK equal to false, because since blah 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 city is not even found in the open web range, so we are given an OK status of false and a status of 404 error, which is server not found. Okay, we will catch all those. If response is equal to false, like in this condition, if response is false, we will throw an error, right? Could not fetch data from this error encountered. Okay, if this does not happen, if response is okay, and then we will continue to await for this. Let I say we should use async and await, right? We will get JSON is a format in JavaScript where all the data will be written in the format of objects. Okay, and then we created another function, display weather info. As is starting, we will pass data as an argument, and the data we are passing is the weather data which we get from the API. Using this weather data, we will get all these instances like the city name, temperature, humidity, description, and a weather ID as the input data, right? And we will display all this, and this is all DOM navigation. If you don't know anything like DOM manipulation in HTML and JavaScript, you need to learn this, because without this you cannot create any functions, and we will append that to our HTML functions. Okay, and then we created an weather emojis, all those stuff, and we create, and don't worry, I will provide all these codes in the description. Okay, my GitHub. Hope this likes you. Let me show you final input. If I enter Delhi, you can get Delhi's current temperature is 9 degrees. Let's say I enter my hometown Visakhapatnam. Okay, I misspelled it. Okay, sorry, I misspelled my hometown. Visakhapatnam current temperature is 22. You can type for anything. Let's say for Seattle. Okay, let's see Seattle currently it's 6 degrees. The condition is broken clouds. Okay, let's say for Paris is currently 0 degrees. You can type for anything. Let's say for Norway it's -7 degrees. Obviously it's near the South Pole, right? You can type for London, any city. London is -2. You can type for any city. You can get weather. Okay, hope this finds you, and if you like the content, please try to subscribe my channel Creative Crafters. Okay, see you in the next video, guys. Thank you. Bye bye. Okay guys, I forgot to show you one thing. Like at the first function, we checked if user really entered a city name or not. Let's say here I did not enter any city name. If I click on the button, get weather button, you see we are getting an error report of city name not found. Okay, this is the error I am talking about. We will catch this error. Okay, we will catch this error and we will display it in the console. Okay, let's inspect. Let me go into the console. Okay, currently, okay, let's see, we are getting the city name not found status. Okay, hope you find. Hope you okay. This is one thing I forgot. Okay, I wanted to show you. Okay, that's it, guys. Thank you.